Have you heard a term called Bandha? Okay, so what is Bandha? What does it mean literally? If someone knows Hindi, think of Bandh. What does it mean by Bandh? Bandh. Yes, that's Bandhan for sure, but Bandh. Dam, yes, actually. So Bandh means dam. So anytime you think of Bandh, that means like think of this as a river flowing. So what do? We create a dam. What do? We hold the water. And then what do? Later on, we channelize this water. So the idea is, first step in yoga is all about preservation of energy. That means somehow I need to know how to stop the unnecessary discharge of energy. Otherwise, I am leaking the energy all the time. And because of that, I feel exhausted and tired. So I need to know how to preserve my energy first. Unnecessary use of energy is supposed to be stopped by myself. But it seems like we are worried about sexual activities nowadays. But I am not just talking about the sexual activity. I am also talking about that we lose energy just because we don't know how to sit. So if I sit in a way where I am not able to align my spine, what happens? Right now, it's not my bone which is bearing my body weight. Right now, it's muscles working against the gravity to hold my body. If I can align my body in a way where I ground my body weight with the help of bones, what's going to happen? I stop the unnecessary use of energy. If I stop the unnecessary use of energy, I can preserve that energy and later on I can channelize. It looks like there are so many people all around the world having individual goals, but it seems like they struggle to fulfill their goals. Why? Because fulfillment of the goal means what? Channelization of energy. Channelization of energy requires a reservoir of energy first. I am supposed to have the reserve energy, then only I am going to channelize it. So the first step in yoga is all about preservation, bandhas or bandh. And once I preserve it, I channelize it later on. Now, anytime you think of any disease or a disorder in relation to Pranamaya Kosha, now you know. These are the centers. So if a person is having the problem related to this area, that means which one is weak? So this is the center of the second force.
What do you call it problem?
Any painful condition or any malfunctioning of an organ around this area,
Hips are not open.
or hips are not open, or hips are not open. So this is what? The second force, apan, is imbalance. So anytime I think about any problem related to this area, from tightness of the hip to any other, like malfunctioning of an organ around this area, that is the imbalance of this second force. Anytime I think of that I have a problem in my pubic area or colon, that's the fourth force, Vyan, yes. So I am naming it. So there are centers.
Yes.
So I am connecting apan here. So anytime I think of any problem related to this area, so that means the imbalance of this force. So this force is imbalanced. So this is 4, this is the third one, then this is the first one, and this is the fifth one. Now, anytime like just because 95% there are girls in these classes, so I must talk about it. It seems like so many girls or so many female figures, they are struggling to have proper menses. Menstrual cycles, they are not proper. It seems like it's becoming common. Now, anytime a girl goes to the doctor and asks for the menses are not regular, they are irregular, so straight away doctor says just go and check your thyroid. Just go and check your thyroid. Is there a thyroid imbalance? So as soon as they know that there is a thyroid imbalance, that may be a reason which leads to irregular menses. Now, where is thyroid? What is thyroid? Endocrinal gland that has some hormone, but that is just the physical expression of a particular form of energy. And what I was talking here for this sense of expression. So when it comes to the girls having irregular menses, I would say just improve your sense of expression. Express yourself fearlessly, because if there is a fear and you are finding it hard to express yourself fearlessly, there is going to be an imbalance of a thyroid later on. Or a practice, just go and learn some vocal. Just go and learn some vocal. Just tune this area. Express yourself without having any fear that what people are going to think about you, or what people are going to create in their mind as an image of yourself. So just express yourself. The more you express yourself, it seems like the better flow of energy happens here. So there are many things you can relate, because this body is not just physical, this is psychophysiological. It seems like there are many things for us to balance, but I would reduce it to only 2. That means I need not to be worried about many things on the board, just reduce these 5 things into 2. And once you reduce these 5 things into 2, ultimately the balance of Pranamaya Kosha depends upon the balance of my breath. So prana is what? It's my inhalation. And apana is what? It's my exhalation. So ultimately the balance of these 2 is the balance of Pranamaya Kosha. So I need not to be worried about all these terms, big terminology. I just need to balance my inhalation with exhalation. For instance, anytime you think of a person having anxiety as a chronic problem. So anytime you think of a person having anxiety as a chronic problem, just observe their breathing pattern and you're going to find something interesting, that their inhalation is much bigger in comparison to their exhalation. So they inhale more and they exhale less. They inhale more and they exhale less. So if you bring the balance to these 2, what's going to happen? Anxiety is not there anymore. So this is just a symptom, not a problem, to tell you that your Pranamaya Kosha is not functioning the way it's supposed to. Because the thing is, if you just change your habit, because when you're trying to regulate your breath, it's just not the breath. There are 5 forces you're dealing. And those forces, they have already established a habit in you. So if you force it, it's just like taming the wild elephant. And then there is a possibility that some emotional stuff may come. And then it's further hard for you to deal it. So just go very slow. So anytime you try and hold your breath, just go to the minimum possible. Maintain your comfort level. That means if you overstretch your body with asana practice, it's only sore muscle. But if you overdo pranayama practices with force, just because you want to improve it, there is a possibility of an emotional fluctuation. And because of that, like when people complain here, hey, since we are here, it seems like the dreams are weird, it seems like it's hard for me to sleep, all these things are happening. Why? Because we are churning ourselves heavily. We are churning. Now, you reverse it, and that is depression. Now what happens in depression, you just go and observe their breathing pattern and you're going to find opposite to this. That means their exhalation is bigger and their inhalation is smaller. Their exhalation is bigger and their inhalation is smaller. But you're going to say like, this is something what we want in our yoga practices, especially in pranayama, because the teacher, they say 1:2 ratio. So your inhalation is supposed to be, if your inhalation is of 5 seconds, you're supposed to exhale for 10 seconds. I think this is just a practice which tones the parasympathetic side of your autonomic nervous system. Otherwise, this is not your breathing pattern throughout the day. So that means this person having depression is very close to enlightenment. But the problem is, this person is chronically stuck with this breathing pattern. But the yogi, they go here voluntarily. They do this practice voluntarily, But this person is chronically stuck there. And that's depression. That's depression. So I must go there with my will, and then I also need to know how to come back. Okay, few things, yes.
What were the two asanas for anxiety and for depression or child's poses for one of them?
You can make it, anytime you think of it, it comes very easy that a person is having anxiety. That means bigger inhalation and smaller exhalation. So forward fold is going to be magic, because anytime you go for forward bend, what happens?
You exhale.
Yes, you exhale bigger, and it's hard for you to inhale. So anytime a person is having depression, then it's other way around. You just give them back bends. The more back bends they do, they can inhale more, and it balances it out.